All right, looks like we have 1 minute until 2, so we'll just give it another minute to kick things off here. All right, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining MessageOps for Together Tuesdays, April 26th. I am your host, Melissa Mintz. For today's Together Tuesdays, I have with me Abby Madden. Say hello, Abby.
Hey, guys.
And we have two special guests on today, Tony Suffoletto, who is our MessageOps and a division of CDW Director of Microsoft Tools and Support. So say hi, Tony. And we
Hello.
also have Robin McCarty, who's our MessageOps business analyst and subject matter expert around Inscape.
Good afternoon, everyone.
All right, so today, before I hand things off to Tony and Robin, the agenda is going to be the Inscape recommendation engine. So with that, Tony, take it away.
All right, perfect. All right, let me share my screen. All right, can everyone see my screen?
There we go. I was going to say we see a blue screen, but now we see Inscape. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, and welcome everyone. So what I'm going to show today is our cost management tool, and so I'll show a few things. One of them will be our recommendations, but also show a little bit more. As you can see, this is for AWS and Azure. So it does cover both, soon to be Google as well. So we're really making this multi-cloud. So it can help people with just one tool to jump into. So right now, this is the cost review section. I'm going to jump down here to our dashboard that shows all the recommendations. So these recommendations are for Azure, AWS, and you can see the different subjects here. So we have cost optimization, performance, service limits, security, fault tolerance, high availability. You can see operational excellence, errors, reporting, warning, low impact. So you can see all of these different recommendations. And when you look at them all, we created a document, and we could certainly send that to you on all the recommendations that it's looking for. It's actually 22 pages. So it just shows you just how much is there. So it really takes a lot of the guesswork out. It's really a good area to take a look at, on a regular basis, just so you're really making sure that not only, the cost optimization and security are really musts, but, you also want to make sure that it's performing ideally. So I'm going to come into here, but if you could see all of this information, and we really have it curated nicely. So I'll jump into the cost optimization. Now this is just a test tenant, so you're not going to see really big numbers in here, but you can see all the different, so it will tell us exactly what the move would be to save money, and then you see where we're saving. So here's one right now. It's $36 savings. I can click on that and I can read this, and it says that even though I'm paying for 100% of this resource, we are only using 10% or less. So we have all the information here. Let's go through and see how much we're using. So here's like day 1 through 6. We're not even using 1%. So we could see, okay, well, let's let's change that a little bit, because no use paying for 100% when we're only using less than 1%. So the tool right here shows all the information. So it shows kind of what it found. So you can take a look at what it was really, really quickly. And then it shows what's the alert criteria. Well, it was a yellow. It was an instance that had 10% or less. And then it has the recommended action. So that's what you really want as well. So let's take it all: alert, what is it, and then the recommended action. So in this case, it's saying, hey, we'll probably want to use scale the number of instances by using auto scaling. So, if you're doing this every day, you probably know what auto scaling is. If not, you could see all these helpful links. So all of these links will show you exactly how to do it. So it's really, really helpful. So all of them, we can just kind of come in here. Here's another one with the small savings, but it's all going to be the same format. So once you learn the format, it's all very, very easy. You can quickly jump through. Some of them you may see and think, okay, wow, it's just a couple dollars. It's maybe not worth my time. When I look at customers' data on here, there are always some really big, areas of savings. So it's really, really interesting, constantly updating. So that's kind of one example on the cost optimization. So let's go back in here. Of course, you can separate these if you want between Azure and AWS, but we'll keep them all together. So let's look at security. So when we come into security, we can find out a lot of these different issues. Now, obviously, security is always top of mind for everything, for all clients. So let's look at this one. Here's a snapshot. This should be private, and it looks like it's not private. So what it did was it had a control failed. So really, again, we have the source. What is it? What caused this? We have the actual, so we have a description of what it is. We found the source. We know the alert criteria is it's looking for red, being critical, and then the following action. So we can come in here. So again, all of these are going to be very, very similar. So we wanted to keep it that way, curate the data so it's really, really easy to follow and action. So let's go into a few more of these. So when we look at any other ones, let's see, let's look at this. So secure service limits. So service limits might be, usually you'll have a service limit of 80%, meaning that when your resources get up to 80%, you probably want to increase that capacity to allow for a little bit more of whatever it might be, whether it's memory, storage, processing, whatever it might be. So we can, again, everything's going to be very, very similar. So we can look at load balancers. So the load balancers that we're using here, more than 80%. So again, everything's going to kind of come around the same type of parameters. So really, really easy. And we all know that if things are easy, we tend to look at them a lot more. So we can certainly send you the list of everything that we're looking for. But as I mentioned, it's a 22-page document on what it's looking for. So very, very, very detailed. For those of you who don't know or haven't seen before, Robin, are there any questions before I kind of cover some other things on here? If you have any questions.
Yeah, I don't see any questions coming in, but if you do, have questions, please use the chat and I'll be monitoring the chat. We can go over those on this call. Thank you.
Robin, anything that you think maybe I missed or might be interesting on this?
Oh, one thing, if you are, just look at the Azure recommendations and something on the roadmap that we're working in the development side is the concept of like a profile. So I think on the cost review tab, if you navigate there, Tony, I can explain it, the concept that we're working towards, where here on cost review, you see you have profiles. And if you set up a profile based on your specific, requirements of you want to look at a certain Azure subscriptions or even, certain Azure subscription and one AWS, account perhaps, when you set up that profile, we're going to have that profile kind of be persistent across all of the services here inside this cost review service. So you would create the profile here, and then when you go to advisor and are looking at the recommendations, it's going to recognize what's important to you. Currently, you would have to set these up separate. So you'd have a profile here for your cost review, and then in advisor on the report side, you're going to set up your own profile as well there. So just keep that in mind. We are working to kind of tie those together. So you're just setting it up in one place.
Excellent. That's great. Thanks for that roadmap item.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'll do is I'll cover a little bit of the cost review. So really what we did was we created this cost review section because we know that a lot of clients, you know, you're getting this bill on Azure AWS and you really need to find out, you know, kind of determine where this cost is going. So whether it is a department, organizational unit, or maybe it's a project, maybe you started an Azure subscription for a project and you need to bill those charges up to a project. So really what we did was we created, so let's say we'll stick on Azure. So what we can do is we can sort out, obviously we can sort out by date. So let's say we want to do the last 30 days and we want to do, maybe if we were, there's a lot of different ways that we can filter this and we can put multiple on. So I can use tagging. A lot of clients are using tagging, whereas they can say, you know, this subscription or this resource is part of Tony's project. So it might be Tony project would be the tag. So you can search by tag maybe. We have a test account here, so that would be that kind. Or we can do it by subscription. So we just have one subscription in here where you can do it by, I had one client who said they needed to track all of the resources. So they wanted to do mostly from a storage perspective because they were billing back storage to individual departments. So you can see all of these different attributes that you can sort by. And then, once you get it to really where you want it to be, then you have that choice to, like we were saying, we could make a profile and then what I can do is I can automate the process. So let's say I want this to come to me. I'd like it to come out monthly, maybe the third day of the month. And once you save that, it's a set profile and you've just automated a process that before might be manually and also just take it off your plate having to search for it or, go through a large bill that isn't always easy to understand. So that's kind of this cost review. You could also, so you can kind of set it and forget it on the reports once you get that profile. Or I could just do one on the fly. So as I changed this, and added these in here, I'm changing, what I have here, but it's also, we also have a live view down below. So we can take that and export it to a CSV very quickly. And we have all that information. Pull that up there. So you can see I've quickly pulled that off. And it's a nice, easy to read format. Very itemized, detailed, but it's an Excel spreadsheet, so you can slice and dice it even further if you need to. But very, very easy way to find out. So really good. If we go to AWS, different criteria for AWS, but the same concept. So keeping in with some other tools of the other pieces of cost management is budgeting. So we can set budgets. And the nice thing is it's really the same concept. So I can set a budget for, again, all that same criteria, whether it's tagging, subscription, resource, whatever it might be, I can set that budget and then have it even set alerts. So let's say I have that budget. I want to give it $1,000. And then I can set reminders so I can get alerts. Let's say we want to do 25% and then 70%, and then 100%. So we can have that all set up and those alerts can go out to me. So very quick, easy way of making alerts. And again, that could be on any of the criteria that we used from the previous screen from the cost review. So again, once you start doing it, and if you need help creating maybe some governance around this, that's something that we can help you out with. Just making sure that you start it in a way that you can build upon. So we have a lot of material that can help you get to that point. So if you wanted to use tagging or you wanted to do other types of sorting, we can do that. So we can also track commitments. Sometimes you may have a commitment with Microsoft, maybe for an annual commitment, or maybe you have a annual budget or something like that that you want to chart against. We can create that, on here as well. So we can create that budget, and you can chart it throughout the year. So here we could say, okay, on our AWS, we're 47% through the budget, but we really haven't touched our Azure. So maybe we want to push a little bit more there because use up our commitment. So that's the main piece of our cost management tool is the cost review. So you can easily look at your charges and do proper show back, charge back, the budgeting section, the commitments, and then of course the advisor and the recommendations. So this is really, really helpful to get everything in one place and make it very, very actionable. Anything else come in, Robin? Any questions from the group?
No questions.
No questions. Okay, perfect. Well,
Doing
if there's
great.
anything on that you'd like to see or anything else you want us to talk about, please just enter it in the chat.
I don't see any questions coming in. So on this call, we've reviewed all of the Azure cost management, the advisor, budgets, commitments, the cost review. If you need any help configuring either AWS or Azure to pull in to this service, please, reach out to Melissa and Abby. They can help get the right team members involved here at the MessageOps team to assist you. The configuration page, if you're clicking into Inscape and you come in here and you're in the configuration page, there are two separate configurations depending on if it's Azure or AWS that you would like Inscape to help monitor. And if you are acquiring the Azure service through us as your CSP provider, there's no configuration needed on your part. But if you're sourcing or buying the AWS or Azure outside of MessageOps or Sirius, there is a configuration required.
Perfect. Excellent. And here was the document that I was telling you about, the 22-page document on everything that it looks for. So you could see it's really looking for an amazing amount of information in order to, when it finds this type of detail and it could save you money, it's pulling it right to that recommendation section. So you can see, I mean, we can keep going. We're just those first 5 pages were really just from the cost recommendation section. So happy to share this document. If anyone would like it, just email us and we can send it to you. And you can take a look at everything that you could do. So really, again, just another set of eyes that's, constantly reviewing and, helping you with all this criteria and keep your data safe and economical.
Great
Well,
job,
Thank you.
Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
If there aren't any other comments, questions, or concerns at this time, I'm sure you guys would like some time back in your day. But before I do so, be on the lookout. Next week, we'll be sending out the May topics for our Together Tuesdays. So if there's a topic that perhaps would be of interest to you, please let myself and Abby know, and we'd be more than happy to take that forward. Robin, Tony, anything else? Thank you both again for this overview of the recommendation engine.
No, our pleasure. Thank you for organizing it, Melissa.
Yes, thank you, Melissa. I have nothing to add on this one, but I look forward to our May topics coming out.
Yeah, so stay tuned for those. Thank you, everybody. And if you have any questions, please, reach out to me and Abby, and we're happy to help.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.